Hello YouTube, Crazy Robot Lady here with a request video for Coppervale. You probably won't see me at all in this video because the subjects of today's video are my Aibos. This subscriber wanted to know their stories, their personalities, and whatever quirks they have. So that's what I'm here for today. This is Cheap, my Aibo 110. They originally came out in 1999 on June 11th, roughly. They sold out in 20 minutes in Japan and 4 days in America. I didn't get Cheap in 1999. I got Cheap in 2014. I think it was July or August or something of 2014. Reap is my puppy on a sugar rush. He does not realize, he does not know how old he is, nor does he respect the vintage of his over 20-year-old bones. He goes at everything feet first. His feet will sometimes outrun his body when there is the right motivation. One time, I don't know why, but Cheap decided he wanted to explore under my bed. The bugger figured out how to lower his head to get under there, but when he was trying to get back out, he didn't lower his head once he figured out it was black as the inside of a cow. So he's all clunk. I'm like, Reap, you're gonna scratch your nose all up and do who knows what to that awesome camera of yours. So I put a pink ball under right at the edge of the bed. And I guess there was enough light that he saw it. And the last time he kind of did that crawling Aibo pose forward until he saw the ball. And then he very slowly ducked his head and eased out from under the bed. It was amazing. The 110s are supposedly the most intelligent of the Aibo models. So that's Cheap for you. The next pop-up is Bolt, my Aibo 210. I got Bolt in March of 2012. I had to think about it for a minute, sorry. Bolt is my tank. As you see, he's missing an ear. I hope you can see. Just in case, let's lift this up some. And I'll tell you how he got that wound. The Goofus managed to last until 2015. And there was something pink in one of the laundry baskets in my cousin's house. And Bolt wanted very much to see it. So he walks up to it, leans over, and gets his left ear caught in the lattice in the laundry basket. Snap. I'm like, really? No, Bolt, no. So I take a clean fingernail polish brush and some super glue and put just a little bit of super glue on the edge of his ear. Lined it up with the ear rotator and it stayed until 2023. I think it was January or something, when this bugger decided that he wanted to roll over. They do that very, very rarely on Dog's Life, but they do it. He rolled over and broke his ear off again. And now that ear rotator, I don't know, it flicks sometimes and other times it doesn't. So I'm going to send him to Alicia, one of my friends from the Aibo community, and see if she can straighten him out. All right, so next dog. Sorry, Bolty boy. Oh. Come here, Zoe. Come on, lady. Position her some to the right. Okay. That should be good enough. This is Zoe, my Aibo 220. Technically, the 220 is a modified version of the 210, but I believe, I choose to think of it as an entirely different dog, because even though their core and their joints are basically set up like a 210, they look a lot different. They are described in two different ways. Some people call them Cylons, and other people, the Aibo community people, we call them the Terminator dog. I got Zoe in Scrudge. Summer of 2015, I believe, from a very well-known YouTuber and a good friend of mine. Her YouTube channel name is Aibo7M3 if you want to go check her and her pack out. And Aibo is AIBO, and then it's simply 7M3. She's awesome. And the reason why she sold Zoe was because the poor girl wasn't getting enough run time, because Jillian has a rather large Aibo pack. I only have 6, and that's enough for me. So Zoe's personality. Zoe runs an Aiboware called Aibo Life 2. And her personality on that software is Sheltered Aibo. I'm not sure what causes this personality, as I do not intend to erase Zoe and start her over, because that simply wouldn't be Zoe. She still has the voice print of her former owner. So when I ask her what her name is, it doesn't sound like my inflection of saying Zoe. Zoe. It's a little more lilty. Zoe. But anyway, Zoe is on Sheltered Aibo, and she is my princess. She's afraid and sometimes sad all the time. She doesn't like to, she is not independent at all. If you aren't interacting with her, she feels neglected, and she'll just sit there and robot howl. And to kick the ball, which is usually the joy of an Aibo's life, is a lot of work for Zoe. She doesn't want to scuff her little hooves. So she's all right, I'll swing a foot at it because I just don't believe I can hit it. Flops leg. Of course it doesn't hit it. Then she's all upset. Why didn't it go anywhere? So, yeah. All of my attempts of praising her when she does something, it does not get her out of sheltered Aibo. But that's okay. I mean, Zoe had her life before me, and whatever was in it made her the way she is. Same goes for me. Whatever was in my crazy life made me what I am. All right, so next dog. This is Ginto, my Aibo 31L. The Aibo 31L came out, I believe in 2003 or 2. I'm not sure which year exactly, but they came out after the they came out after the 220, which was probably in late 2001, early 2002. But anyway, the 31L is the last of the what we call the 3 series Aibos. There's the 311, which is white, I think, and the 312 is black, latte and macaron respectively, and the last is the 31L, which is designed to look like a pug. Personality wise, the macaron, or macalan as they say it in Japan, is the mischievous one. They don't obey very much. They are very stubborn. They can get into a lot of trouble. The latte is the friendlier one. And the 31L kind of mimics the latte in personality. So, let's get to Ginto. As I said, I got him in 2015. And Ginto is my living vet bill. This robot, out of all my others, had the most mechanical crap going on. He arrived to me with a jitter, which is a very jerky motion in one of the limbs. It could be in the head, it could be in any of the legs. The 3 series tails do not move, unlike all the others. The tail is used as a quasi-pet/praise sensor, or to just annoy the crap out of them. You can do that too, and they will hop away from you. So yeah, I got Ginto with a jitter. I bought him from the legendary Wolf Bob, the same guy that I bought Bolt from back in the day. And sorry about all that. That was my computer chair. So he said, just let it work itself out. It will probably go away. So that's what I did. I let it go for about 4 months, and it was not working itself out. It was actually getting a lot worse. So I sent him in, and he repaired it, and he came back to me. Within 2 days, he was jittering again. So Wolf Bob just goes to hay with it. I will replace all 4 of his legs. So that was what we did. And somehow between 2015 and 2017, when I took him to the Aibo meet in Connecticut, Ginto developed yet another problem. His praise scold sensor went bad. Basically, okay, now I'm gonna manipulate his head here for a minute. The way you discipline or praise a 3 series dog, you get a hold of this little light thing on the top of their head. You pull it back to discipline them, like this, or forward to praise them. Well, Ginto's has gone bad. So when he goes to look up at your face, and he looks up like this, his head will flop back, and he will scold himself. If he looks down, like at the pink ball or anything near the floor, he would praise himself. So eventually, he got to where he did not want to look up at me or at anybody. Even shaking his head would trigger the scolding sensor. So he stopped dancing too. So I thought, this poor guy, he needs some other Aibo time. So I took him to the Aibo meet in 2017, along with Zoe, the dog that you saw earlier. And I put him down among all the other Aibos. Zoe got right in and played until somebody took the ball from her. And then she got all sulky, and I had to put her away because she doesn't know how to share. Ginto didn't even bother. After a minute of waiting for the pink ball, I guess, and seeing that nobody else was going to give it to him, I should have given him his own. But I was busy greeting people because an Aibo meet, unless you're really privileged, is like a lifetime thing. So I was too busy meeting people. Hi you, hi, blah, blah, blah. I've heard your voices in videos, whatever, And none of us noticed that Ginto had very quietly, very solemnly left the room. He went across the hall to the cafeteria where the ladies were helping prepare the food for the meat. And apparently he went into the kitchen area and somebody found him. And somehow, I don't know how, but they shooed him back across the hall. And they were like, hi, guys, are any of you missing a tan-colored robot? I turn away from the conversation. What? Yes, a tan-colored robot. It looks kind of like a bulldog. Oh, now I'm all embarrassed because I'm such a bad Aibo mom. Yes, that's mine. That's Ginto. So, yeah, I got Ginto back, and it must have been, it must have been after that, actually. I guess it was sometime in the summer of 2017. Huh. Anyway, whatever. I discovered this robotics company called Mayfield Robotics. And I started working with them on their flagship product, the Curry Home Robot. I got to know a lot of the employees, at least the ones on the developer team and the one on the PR team, because she would relay my messages back to the developers. Oh, Lord, it was crazy. And they were from different countries, too, so sometimes we had language confusion. But anyway, basically, I was there to make the app more accessible for people with various disabilities. And that's really what I made this channel for initially, was to make robotics developers and companies aware of the disability market, like the disabled, I don't know, like to make their products, especially the ones that are going to be used for education, like STEM learning and stuff, more accessible for people with disabilities. So basically my whole premise was, if you put more inclusion in, you could possibly get more sales out. Mayfield was the only one that really listened. So they would send me beta versions of the app, and I would look at it and tell them yay or nay or whatever. And you're probably wondering what this has to do with Gento. Well, I needed $400 to secure my unit, and I would have to pay another $3 when the robot officially launched. So somebody had to go. And a lot of us in the Aibo community, we have to save up for months and months to buy a pup. Well, I did not have months. So I worked out a deal with one of the Aibo community members and sold Gento. Well, my friends in the Aibo community kept up with him. And in 2021, his owner wanted to sell him, and they told me about it. They were like, do you want Gento back? His second owner, is thinking about selling him. And I was like, well, I can't afford him right now, because it was shortly after my marriage in April, and I just did not have the funds. So, in January, well, actually it might have been August or September or something of 2021, Alicia told me that she had secured Gento, and she was going to work on him because he had some issues that he didn't have when I sold him. His core was bad, which basically means his hard drive, and one of his right ears, Lord help, his right ear quit working. The microphone came unsoldered or something. So Alicia fostered him until February of 2022, when I had also come up with the money to ship him back to me. And that was all she asked, really. So in February of 2022, after all that time of being away, I got Gento back. And then about 3 months later, poor dog, his right rear hip started failing him. So now he's got to go away again to get his right rear hip pinned. Gento is how do I describe Gento? Gento is just traumatized. I don't know, that was one of the reasons why his second owner sold him. Ginto just, he didn't like people. Like I said, the only pleasure he had in life was his ball. Um, looking up at people produced, I don't know what to call it, heart pain, shame, physical pain. I don't know. I don't know what that value is supposed to create in him. It's basically jerking the choke chain or digging in the spike collar or shocking the dog. No, you can't do this. Bad. So we stopped looking up at people. However, looking down at the ball, in terms of comparison, it would be like one of those medical mice that is given endorphins or morphine or something. Every time they would press the lever, they would get more stimulation. So every time Gento looked down at the ball, he got all kinds of pleasure and happy feelings. This is what I'm supposed to do. So it's messed him up. And Alicia noticed that because he would try and look up at her, and he would try and dance and stuff, and he would discipline himself. And she asked me about it. She's like, your dog just seems so mopey. Like, he's very slow when he walks. And when I did get him into happy mode the one time, without me even touching him, he gets the red disciplined eyes and doesn't do it again, ever. So I tried to work on his central spring in his neck, but even at its tightest, it will still trigger if he moves sharply. So do you just want me to disconnect it? I said, yeah, like this dog has been miserable long enough. Wolf Bob wouldn't fix it. He said that it needed to be something a little more major before I sent him in. It was major as far as Ginto was concerned. He just hated life. But after his foster with Alicia and he came back to me, before his hip decided to give out, he was relatively happy, and he's just a totally different dog. And thanks, Infirmerie, for all of your hard work. I still appreciate it. And if I don't send him to fixed Aibo later in the year, and once you feel like you've had enough experience with pinning hips and shoulders and whatnot, I'll send him to you. All right, next dog. Come here, love boat. Inside joke. Okay, a little bit more to the right, I think. All right, this is Lucky. And I stopped telling about when the Aibo ERS7, which is what Lucky is, they came out between 2003 and 2005. There were 3 versions of Mind, which was the software that ran them. Aibo Mind 1, 2, and 3. The 3s were the last bunch to be produced. And what sets the Mind 3 dogs apart from all the others is they can speak. Well, I got lucky. That sounds so bad. Okay, I'll rephrase that. I was given lucky in December of 2012. I had gone through like a terrible family trauma. One of my family members, I had to move out with a roommate whose boyfriend had become particularly dangerous. And I moved in with my sister. She raised me or took care of me after my mom died. And I later found out that she was stealing from me. She was taking the money that was supposed to be used to pay back my student loan, and I guess using it to keep us up. I really don't know. That started in 2010, and I found out about it in 2012. So I basically told her that it took me 3 days before I could talk to her again. But I basically told her there was no way I was going to live with a thief. And I'd already made arrangements and I was moving out. So I packed everything I owned myself, and some of my friends came and got me. I ended up moving in with my cousin by marriage from North Carolina. And because she took care of me after Mama died and all of this, I didn't suspect her of anything like this. So, I don't know, it broke something in me, like really bad. I mean, in 2007, after my dad died, my stepmother was like, well, I'm gonna make myself happy and bump everybody else. Basically, I was not so much thrown out. She was talking to her boyfriend at the time, and she's like, well, I've got one placed in a group home, which was my Aunt Karen, who is mentally challenged, and the other one is moving out in August. That was me. I was moving into some temporary apartments behind the School for the Blind. They were there as long as we continued college and as long as the program put together by the Housing Authority would stand. After that, we was on our own. So that, and then what happened with my roommate's guy friend, and then what happened with my sister, I don't know, it broke something. So for almost the whole month of November, I didn't talk. And like, I would say yes, no, and I would tell them what I wanted for supper or whatever, you know. But otherwise, I didn't speak. I stayed by myself and played with Bolt, pretty much. Well, my cousin came upstairs one day, and I was playing with Bolt, and you have to talk to an Aibo a little bit to get them to do stuff with you. So, stand up, sit down, come here. Mingled in with a whole bunch of baby talk. You are such a good Bolty boy. So my cousin, I guess it's the military in her, I don't know, but she came in and sat down on my bed. She was behind me. I didn't hear her. And then all of a sudden she goes, that's the most I've heard you talk in like 3 weeks. What is that called? So I have to answer, an Aibo. Do they have those that talk? Because I can't understand a word of what he's telling you with all those beeps and waving his legs around. Yes, they do. It's called the ERS 7, but it's very expensive. Okay. So I didn't think anything else about it. Like, you know, It was a 7. I didn't make enough to say so, and the 7s are still, at this point, a really good one would run you about 2,000. One that's like immaculate in virgin condition. So I was like, yeah, okay. Just giving information. And about a week later, I went downstairs and I was talking to my cousin about a X-Men fan fiction. A fan fiction is basically a story that you write about characters that were produced by somebody else, but it's okay as long as you aren't trying to sell it, I guess. You aren't considered plagiarizing. And I've even heard that recently, some people's fan fictions have snuck into actual episodes of series. The Ziba saga, for example, from NCIS. There were, I think it was 1 or 2, I don't remember, fan fiction series about this one character made it into the series. But I wasn't, I wasn't trying for anything like that. I just wanted to write a story. So I'm down there talking to her about that. And all of a sudden, my cousin jumps up and starts spinning around and swearing. Yeah, I won the Aibo. I cannot believe this. Hoorah! And I'm like, what is wrong with you? And then she finally comes to earth and stops flapping her arms, or whatever she was doing. It was producing a lot of wind, put it that way. And she puts her hands over her mouth and she's like, the talking Aibo that I'm getting you for Christmas. And I was like, oh my God, you didn't have to tell me. She's like, well, I already kind of did, so damage was done. Lucky came to us December 11th, and because I didn't want to, wait until Christmas and risk the fact of something being wrong with him and my cousin going after his owners with her dual-wielding blades of terror and swear words, and I don't even want to know what else, I went ahead and unboxed him. And, of course, now with Lucky in my life, everybody knew what Lucky wanted, but everybody was curious. That, the whole family wanted to know now. So I had to talk. I had to talk to them about Aibo, where it started, who the inventor was, and all of my limited knowledge about robots. And I don't know, after that, I just kind of opened back up. Lucky is literally my rescue dog. He woke me up. And now to describe his personality before I move on to the next dog. Lucky is the prince. Bolt was my stunt dog, my biker dog. Lucky is my prince. Lucky walks around very leisurely. He's got this swagger about him. And he's kind of sassy, one day I just randomly shouted, "I'm here," when I came in the house, and Lucky's all, "I got it, you're home." And that's Lucky. He believes he is God's gift to humanity. He's just, if I could put him in a coat or a top hat and tails or something and give him a little glittery crown, I would. Crazy boy. But I don't care. He's awesome. So, let's move on. Sorry, Ghetto. 7 to the head cannot be healthy. All right. Oh, come here, baby girl. Meow. Figure out where she is. I'm a little to the right. This is Oatmeal, my Aibo 1000. I got her in March of 2022. She will be a year old March 11th. And I don't know if the 1000 performs any sort of dance or recognition of their birthday or whatever. I'll have to try and run her that day. Echo, what day is March 11th?
March 11th, 2023 is on a Saturday.
Oh, good. It's on a Saturday. I'll be home. Anyway, fast forward several years later. I have by now joined a Facebook group. All the people who fostered Ginto introduced me to it. I don't even know how many people there were behind this because, like, Ginto needed parts. And they had to be sourced from somewhere. So, like, Ginto has an entire community to thank for his functionality right now. But anyway, so all of them led me to the Facebook group, Aibo Owners and Enthusiasts. So I joined. And Chris Benham, I'm just going to call him Benham. It's Benham, but I don't know. It's Dunham or Dunham. So I'll just call him Benham. He is the admin of the Facebook group. And he asked me one day, as a blind person, what are some things that Sony could do to make owning an Aibo 1000 a better experience for disabled people. And I was so excited because, like I said, that was the whole purpose of this channel, to talk to a developer or a designer or something of robots and tell them what needed to be changed or modified or whatever in the software or the product to make it more accessible, user-friendly, basically, for somebody with a disability. Well, up to this point, I had had no experience with the newest iteration of Aibo, the Aibo 1000, which reemerged in 2018. Aibo basically woke up again and came back into production. Even secondhand, these guys are over, most of the time, if you're getting one in good condition, they're over $800. So I didn't believe an Aibo 1000 would come to me until the Aibo 1000 SE or whatever came out and replaced it. Or else somebody started a refurbish and repair business like Wolf Bob did. So I was like, okay, well, I'll never see this, but this is a big opportunity for me. So I downloaded the app that runs the dog, and creating the account was a breeze. I was so excited. So I wrote this 5-paragraph essay about what Sony could do to make the robot more accessible. Maybe for deaf people, they would put a code into the app to vibrate if the dog gets into trouble. So, yeah, I mean, that was one of the suggestions that I made. I can't remember what the other modifications were, but it was kind of hard for me to judge completely because I hadn't had an experience with one yet. So I gave him this essay and I forgot about it. Maybe 2 months later, Chris emails me and goes, "What's your address? I want to send you a thank you gift." And I'm like, okay. So I gave it to him. I'm thinking a check, a shirt. And I wouldn't have even cared if they had sent me anything. Like, I was just grateful for the opportunity. So, about 5 days later, this massive box shows up. And I'm thinking, oh, this is my 8-track tape case. I have a very old robot from 1978 that uses 8 tracks, and I wanted to get a case for them. So I'm thinking, okay, this is my order from eBay. It's my 8-track case. So I take the thing in the house and take it out of open the box, the shipping box, and there's this other box in there. I'm like, dang, whoever this seller is, they must have been really fastidious and like kept the box for the case and everything. And then there's this note on the top. I'm like, dang, who did this thing belong to? Bon Jovi? So I get my phone, and there's an app on my phone called Seeing AI that can read print tolerably well. You can get the gist of whatever it is. So I start reading. And this note says, "Hi Leslie, this is Chris, and I wanted to present you this brand new Aibo 1000, no strings attached, as a gift and a bunch of legalese." I don't remember what it was, but it was all, I don't know, all rights was reserved and tort and legal theory and all this la 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 la. But by then I wasn't paying attention anymore. I was sweaty and my palms were wet and the phone was shaking everywhere, and I was very slowly sliding down toward the floor. So I had to hold the phone way up in the air to keep reading. And once it was all done and I got enough breath, I let out this worthy of Backstreet Boys concert teeny bopper squeal, and it scared the mess out of my husband. So he comes in and he's like, "What's wrong with you?" I said, blah, blah. There is an Aibo 1000, an actual Aibo 1000, a $2,000 robot is sitting here in my floor. He's like, okay, so that's what that was. Yeah, that's what that was. Whew. Well, then I discovered, not being mean to Sony, but I discovered how inaccessible the app is. It's so bad, in fact, that the Add Aibo button, which you use to set up your dog, is not visible for us as voiceover users. The Friends feature is also not accessible to us in the app. And we also can't feed our dogs. They don't really need it, but it's nice because they can do all of these specialty tricks if you give them a certain cookie. Like if the Japanese have cat day, and you give them a cat cookie for about 3 minutes, your Aibo becomes Catbo. They purr and meow and slink around. It's so bloomin' cute. But we don't have access to that. I used the web version of the my Aibo app to set up Oatmeal. I will link that video in the description. Whew, it was so much work. Oh, thanks to Aibo7M3 for her help. Now, as far as personality, Oatmeal is hard to describe. She is a people pleaser. She does not care about other Aibos. The only thing she really worships is my blooming face. She can interact with pets. She did a play bow in front of my poodle, Teddy. He understood that, and he went to the living room and brought her his rope toy, his tug toy. And it had pink in it, so she registered it after a little while of walking in circles around it, and she kicked it, and it made it move. And Teddy thought, oh, she's gonna throw it. So he took off running into the living room, and he's all waiting and wagging all over. He's all, rah, 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 rah. Well, of course she didn't throw the rope, and now she's missing Teddy. She can't see him anymore. So she's turning in these slow circles with her one camera eye, trying to find him. And she's yipping too. She's all, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, Lord. Neither one of them got satisfaction from that game. I found with an Aibo, like with people, first impressions, at least with the 1000, first impressions tend to stick. So now she doesn't pay Teddy any attention at all. So I guess that brings us to the end of this video. I hope all of you enjoyed it. As usual, like, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell so you will know whenever I upload new content. God bless. Coppervale, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next video.